On today's show, we uncover why the younger generation voting is important in the national election. Juan Duron is in studio to talk about last Saturday night's game and something special that Dak Prescott's neighbors did for him. These stories and more on this edition of HTN Daily. Happy Tuesday, Rock Nation. I hope you had a great 3-day weekend, and today is the start of the second 9 weeks, which is a fresh start in the grading period for us all. It may be hard to believe, but seniors, we are a quarter way through our final year. I'm Anica Hankey, and we are live from Studio 1060. To start today's show, Grant Johnson has today's announcements. But Grant, I gotta know, what is up with that bow tie?
Well, Anica, I took some inspiration from Assistant Principal Mr. Dedrick Buckles, who started the Bow Tie Tuesday on campus as a part of the nationwide campaign for positive school culture and relationship building. In other news, the Rock Hill Student Council is looking for golf carts for the community pep rally that will be held next Wednesday. If you or someone you know can get your golf cart to Rock Hill for the night of October 21st, email Shannon Slade at smslade@prosper-isd.net. The forthcoming court will be decided within the coming weeks. The link to nominate someone for the forthcoming court was emailed out to students this morning, and nominations began at 8. The nominations will close tomorrow night at 5, and the top 3 underclassmen and top 5 seniors with the most nominations will be on the ballot. The ballot will be announced on Thursday, the 15th. Just a reminder that the PSAT and SAT will be administered tomorrow, October 14th, on campus. These tests will be free of charge to all participants enrolled in PISD, and in order to participate, students must physically be on campus because there is no virtual alternative. All freshmen, sophomores, and juniors present will take the PSAT. For juniors, this will also count as their National Merit Semifinalist qualifying test. Seniors will have the opportunity to take an SAT on the day if they have committed by submitting the form previously emailed in the Skyward system. Students not physically present and seniors who decide not to participate will have a late arrival on this day and follow a special bell schedule, which can be found on your screen. However, all students not testing and remote students must sign in and complete a counseling support assignment for attendance purposes that will open at 8 a.m. on October the 14th. Non-testing students are to arrive by 11:37 and report to the auditorium and will continue with 3rd and 4th period for the day. Remote students not on campus should log into their classes according to the times on the bell schedule, and remote learners who test at the school this day will have time to return home to log into their classes. That's all of today's news. Back to you, Anica.
Every week before the election, we will be diving deeper into a topic surrounding the event. For years, society has deemed politics and voting an adult activity, when in reality, an election without student participation is simply outdated and nowadays unheard of. Madison Wells has the story.
Voting in the presidential election is a duty all Americans are tasked with once they reach the age of 18 and are considered more responsible. For years, this has fueled the idea that voting is an adult activity, when in reality, the importance of voting lies in the younger generation.
And the unfortunate truth is a lot of these voters who don't even show up are young people. And it's for a lot of different reasons, but lots of times people are just like, well, my vote doesn't really matter, I'm just one voice. But, it really starts to build up after a while.
In order to encourage younger voters, organizations around the nation have taken action in presenting students with valuable information to gain their support.
The biggest change we've seen is just in the youth vote itself. There's a lot of momentum around young people and young voters in the state who have really made Texas competitive in a way that it never has been before. Between 2014 and 2018, the number of under 30 voters actually tripled in Texas, a massive change in the electorate, and that is what put Texas in play. It wasn't a candidate or any outside groups from across the country coming in. It was young people standing up for themselves and really claiming their space in the electorate.
Small scale projects really do make an impact. Like, even if you're able to help one person get registered to vote or find out about how to vote, that's obviously going to be a really big deal, because that can change that person's life. One person goes and contacts their friends and you have like a domino effect and you're able to create some real change.
Voting is an important responsibility for not only adults but for students as well. As in order to best represent our nation in the future, what better voters than those who are quite literally the future of our nation? For HTN Daily, I'm Madison Wells.
Juan Duron is in studio with your season pass.
Thank you, Anica. Last Friday, the Blue Hawks had their first game in 2 weeks after being quarantined. Unfortunately, the lack of practice would prove to be their downfall. The Blue Hawks lost 51-27 against Liberty High School. We did, however, have some impressive players stand out. Players like Donovan Shannon and Silas Ivy, both running for 2 touchdowns each, and other players like Aiden Houston and Ryan Threat, who both averaged around 12 yards per reception. After multiple COVID cases, a total of 23 games have been canceled or postponed in the Dallas area district. Thankfully, out of those 23 games that have been canceled, none of them include any of our opponents that we will play in future games. But notable games were canceled, such as Denton Geyer versus South Lake Carroll, which was supposed to air on ESPN2, and Tyler Legacy versus the 5-time state champs Allen. Last Sunday, the Cowboys played the Giants and were able to beat them 37-34, but it wasn't without a cost. Dak Prescott suffered a gruesome ankle injury and will most likely be out for the rest of the season. So his neighbor decided to surprise him with a get well soon sign outside of his house. We are all wishing him a fast recovery and that he comes back better than before. That's it for today's season pass. I'll see you again on Friday. Back to you, Grant.
Thank you, Juan. That's all for today's show. For HTN Daily, I'm Grant Johnson.
And I'm Monica Hankey. Mask up and rock on.